number 5, we've got the infamous, universally beloved Eye of the Beholder episode. And you might think, at first glance, that this should not be on here, like there's a mistake or something. But I'll tell you why I hate it. Because, like a lot of the ones on this list, it thinks it's really clever with the twist that it gives, that the lady in the bandages is pretty and everyone else is all ecky, right? But actually, the trouble with that is that throughout this entire episode, until the face reveal, nobody's face is shown except the bandaged lady, and her face is covered in bandages. It's kind of like Pavlov's gun. You know, gun's on the wall, it's gonna be fired. Likewise, if nobody's face is shown for an entire episode, the viewer can logically deduce that something is up with their faces. The problem with this episode is that if it shows the faces of the doctors and nurses before the end, it'll ruin the twist, right? But by not showing the faces of the doctors and nurses, it also ruins the twist. You can't get away with it either way, because, you know, some might say, well, you know, this one has really good cinematography. They really do a good job of not showing anyone's faces for 20 minutes. And my answer to that is, how can you do a good job of not showing anyone's faces for 20 minutes? It's very obvious. You're following around all these doctors and nurses, their backs, their asses. Yeah, I noticed something about this episode. Where are the faces? Where's the eyes and the mouths, you know? Like, that's obvious. I mean, also, this episode is supposed to look like just like a normal hospital before, you know, the face reveal. But it's obviously in the future, because there's this part where the nurse is like, well, we've got to listen to our glorious leader's mandated television ritual, and then she like flashes up like a hologram screen. You know, it's just a projector really, but she flashes up like this futuristic hologram tape up on the wall, and it's like, this obviously isn't the United States, it obviously isn't the present day, this obviously isn't a normal hospital because no one's face is being shown. And once the twist comes around, I mean, it's okay. The one thing I will say about this episode is that the ending isn't that sad for something set in such a depressing society, because although the ugly fellows don't like the beautiful, normal people, they don't kill them or anything. They just say, you can go off and live in your own society happily. You know, that makes the pig-faced people seem very nice, you know, very nice pig-faced people. And also, the makeup is really good, so I can understand why some people are drawn to this episode. It's good special effects. I mean, that's good makeup for the 60s. The problem is that people are so attracted to the makeup that they forget about how the episode is pulled off. You know, how it works. I mean, a much better episode, also with ugly people, is the one about Mardi Gras. That one's a lot better and a lot more interesting and fun. And, you know, idiotic fellows like, what's his name, Big Joel, can claim that, you know, the four loathsome relatives don't deserve to be punished, and the old man is a heartless murderer. But, you know, Twilight Zone, you can go for petty revenge. It's fun. It's just for fun. And yet, what really bothers me is the episodes that aren't just harmless fun, the ones that act like they're really saying something grand about society, like Eye of the Beholder. Like, you know, what's it say, really? Beauty's in the eye of the beholder, sure, but no one's pig people. And even so, you know, I can get it. The pig people consider themselves beautiful. I think one of the flaws with this episode is that once the bandages come off and she sees the pig people, she reacts like anyone today would, like, oh, it's pig people, help. You know, she wouldn't be scared, she'd just be like, oh, yeah, you're the doctors, and I'm the freak, you know? Like, that's how she'd react, because she was brought up in this society, apparently. And, I mean, what kind of operation, really, are they even performing? Because presumably she looks the same at the end of the operation as she did at the beginning, just, you know, normal by today's standards. What's the operation even doing? She doesn't look a bit like the people. I mean, you'd think that if they're such an advanced society, they could at least, like, up the lip or flatten the nose or something. I mean, again, the ending isn't sad. I like that. And the message is nice. You know, there are better ways to say just don't be a racist, or don't judge people on their looks or whatever, or don't, you know, beauty's in the eye of the beholder, than to make some weird society where everyone's a pig person and you can't show their faces for half of the episode, or 4/5 of the episode. Because the trouble is, this one is always praised for its amazing twist. But the best twists, and this is what I think a lot of people don't get, the best twists aren't used as a plot convenience or some kind of incredible knockout. They're used by necessity, and when they're given, they make logical sense. They fit into the pieces that we've already received. They don't contradict anything. They don't, you know, they make sense within the structure of the story. And while Eye of the Beholder's twist isn't the worst, and it does make sense because no one's face is ever shown, it's, you know, so, you know, it's not like anyone was shown with a normal face. You can't just go a whole episode without showing anyone's face and then expect me to be surprised when something is wrong with their face. You're obviously hiding something. This is very easy. You think back to a classic episode like The Arrival, where this plane lands with nobody on board. And the great thing about the episode is, Rod Serling even says it's like a jigsaw puzzle. Your mind can come up with 100 different theories, but you'd never come up with the right theory, which is just that the guy who happens to be investigating the plane with no one on it is plagued by guilt for a plane where everyone died, and he's crazy. And sometimes the best twists come not from, you know, ghosts and spooky scares and people with pig faces. They come from psychological realities, like, you know, the plane investigator is just crazy. There's nothing paranormal about the plane. The plane doesn't exist. His hand can pass through the propeller, and all his friends are fake, and he can see the number differently than they can. Same goes for perchance to drink. The carnival isn't real. The funhouse isn't real. The eyes in the rearview mirror aren't real. He dies from a heart attack. He's crazy. That's great. Eye of the Beholder doesn't have a twist like that. That twist is okay, but this one is hyped up too much. It's number 1 on everyone's list, and it's high time that stopped. This isn't good enough to warrant number 1. It's maybe number 10. It's not that good. And, you know, Chekhov's gun. This episode violates the most basic principle of screenwriting, and for that reason, it's at number 5 on my list. Or, no, Chekhov's gun. it for the number 4 worst.
Yeah, if you watched The Twilight Zone, you probably knew this was coming. But honestly, how could this not be the number 1 spot?